What's up everybody, it's your girl JD Boo and I'm back with another video, finally. So I know it's been a while since my last video, but you know, I've just been really just chilling and enjoying my whole social distancing and everything like that. But I was like, you know what, it's been about 3 weeks. Let me come back to my channel and make sure everyone knows that I'm alive. So as you guys know, I do have a podcast that I like to do on the side. And you know what, I've gotten asked like quite a few times, bro, how do you start a podcast? And I was like, you know what? Now is probably the best time to actually start one, because you know, you really don't need an entire studio to do one. If you want to do one from home, you can definitely do that, especially from a beginner's standpoint. So in today's video, I'm going to give you guys a beginner-friendly way as to how to start a podcast. It's so simple, I'm telling you. I mean, not gonna lie, I didn't know a lot going into it, so a lot of things really are trial and error, but I'm gonna give you guys like the basics so you can at least start it, okay? And how the rest of it goes is completely up to you. Alright, so let's get into it. So the first thing you're gonna need is a name. You can't have a podcast without a name. So it could be something simple as the Cereal Breakfast Podcast, and it's like a podcast about things you think about in the morning. I don't know. But mine is called All About the Vibes Podcast because that's just how I was feeling at the time, and I just like how it sounds. So whatever you feel comfortable with, choose that as your name. And I would think long, well, not too long, but you know, take some thought, and I would suggest writing down 3 to 5 possible names to give your podcast. That way you can, you know, look at it, give yourself some thought, and if you want to even ask people like, hey, like, what should my podcast be, you have options, and then just divvy out from there. Second thing you're gonna need is an idea. So like your topics, what are you gonna talk about? What kind of podcast is it gonna be? Is it gonna be something like music related, gossip related, or just general topics? And you know, once you think about what you wanna talk about, that can actually help you with step 1 when creating a name for it. So going back to mine's called All About the Vibes, and I'm just giving my vibey millennial perspective on all things life. So it could be like pop culture or social issues, just all kinds of things, but it's all about the vibes. My vibe, and if you vibe with me, cool. You see what I mean here? You gotta like make it connect. So if your podcast is talking about, you know, EDM related culture or like hip hop or just anything that is a specific genre, try to have your title relate to that. So a good example would be like, let's say you're doing celebrity gossip, you can have it called the Celebrity Gossip. Well, actually, don't name it that, because I think there's like a gossip blog already called Celebrity, because get it, like celebrity, like, you know, tea, the tea is hot, tea meaning gossip. You get what I'm saying. So once you have an idea on what you're gonna talk about, it'll be easier to just filter out different topics and different episodes, but don't think too far into that yet. Just focus on the name and what it's gonna be about to start. To be really honest, your episode ideas will come as, you know, time goes on. So trying to like make a whole list of things you want to talk about right now might stress you out a little bit, and it might withhold you from creating a podcast, because in your mind you might be like, oh, well, I'm not really ready, I don't know everything I want to do. Relax, breathe, and just come up with the basics for now, okay? Okay. So the next thing you're going to need is cover art, and you need cover art to have a successful podcast, right? Right. So for this, you actually have a few options. You can either use Canva, which is a free website that also has premium options, and they have nice little templates for you for things just like that. So if you're not like super design savvy or you just don't know where to start, I suggest going to Canva, and that will help you come out with some kind of idea for at least a template of what you want. Another platform you can use is Adobe Spark Post. Now, I actually like that too because it's super easy to use on your phone, and the templates are right there. Like, you literally just search in the taskbar, album cover, and boom, it's right there. You can edit it how you want, animate it how you want, and just anything you basically want. Same thing with Canva, but I feel like Adobe Spark Post is easier to use if you just want to use your phone. Now, another way you can do this is just outsource it and see if someone can just design the album cover for you. Now, that one won't be free. You know, people do charge for their work, so it depends on what your budget is and just what you're looking for in general. So if you want something with like you on it and just all kinds of like really dope custom stuff, find someone to do it for you. But if you know, you want to save money, you want to just do it on your own super quick, either use Canva or Adobe Spark Post. Now, once you have your album cover, the topic, and your name, now it's time to get equipment. You need equipment. So I actually have 2 suggestions, and I will leave the links to both products in the description below. So when I started, you know, I didn't know what I was doing. I just wanted to create a podcast, and I wanted to make it cost efficient as possible. And again, this video is for beginners. So if you want to get a mic that won't necessarily break the bank, I suggest this little mic right here. It's by Fifine. I'll show you. I don't know if you guys can see it. Probably not. I'm still trying to work this camera, you guys. Like I'm still learning. But anyway, so yeah, here's this camera right here. It has a USB, so it plugs up into the computer. And this camera is cool. You know, it's great for beginners. It's not too expensive. I think it was like under 50 bucks, to be honest. And you know, it has a little stand, so you can prop it up wherever you need to prop it up, how you need to prop it up, and it's good. But my only thing is, it does pick up a lot of like surroundings. So if you're not like in a super quiet environment, I wouldn't suggest getting this one, only because it will pick up everything. It will pick up your voice, but there's still a lot of like extra fluff, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but it picks up extra stuff, you know. And that's, as your podcast grows, you won't necessarily like that, and that's one thing I noticed with this microphone. But for beginners, this is definitely the way to go. Now, on the little more expensive side, I have this mic right here. It's called the Blue Yeti. I literally just got this camera like 2 weeks ago, and I am in love with this camera. Oops. I am in love with this microphone because literally it has different directional settings. It's super easy to use. This one also plugs into your computer, and it just, oh my god. Now the quality on this one is a huge upgrade compared to the one I had initially, but I feel like, you know, if you have the money to do so, I suggest getting this one. There's a setting on the back that allows you to properly record from this end and this end. There's also another setting that just picks up what's in front of you, picks up what's around, and picks up like this. I completely forgot the actual terminology for the directions I'm trying to give, but I will leave the link in the description. I totally recommend this if you want supreme quality podcast. I'm just saying. Alright, so next you're gonna need your software. And you know, for beginners, I personally suggest using a software called Audacity. And that's, you know, if you're not used to editing audio or just editing in general, because maybe you want to edit, you know, music into your podcast, like an intro and an outro, completely fine. I suggest using that software because it is free. And in my opinion, it's easy to use once you get the hang of it. And I'm not an expert in audio editing by any means, so I feel like that was perfect for me when I started. So I also feel like it'd be great for you if you're just getting started out. And there's a ton of tutorials and all kinds of things on YouTube that you can just search how to use Audacity, and it will tell you everything you need to know. Super simple, straight to the point. I think it's great. Use Audacity if you're just getting started and you don't know what to do. Now, another thing you're going to need, and this is really important, because okay, you have the equipment, you got the software, you're recording, great, but wait, how am I going to get it out there? You're going to need an RSS feed. So what an RSS feed is basically a host site where you put your podcast, and then from there it shoots it out to all the other platforms. And the one I use is Buzzsprout. Now, I personally really like Buzzsprout because they have a free version, which is phenomenal, but they also have a monthly subscription, which is like only 12 bucks a month for the one I use, and my episodes are only 30 minutes per episode, so I don't need like that much, you know, time per month. And I feel like even with the cheapest, you know, monthly subscription for Buzzsprout, I get pretty much everything I'm looking for. You get your stats, you're able to pick and choose where you want to shout out your podcast, and it's super easy to use, and it's a really nice interface. You can add your hashtags, you can add your album cover, and it remembers things from the previous episode if you want. So it's just really, it's so I don't know, for someone who again didn't know what the heck they were doing when they started a podcast, and again, I'm still learning, it was super to the point, super easy. And fun fact, last month they sent everyone a freaking $10 Amazon gift card. I don't know why, they just did it, and you know what, kudos to you guys. And another cool thing is, when you're trying to like promote and get your podcast out there, they let you create sound bites. So if you want to, you know, post on your Instagram story or your Facebook or even YouTube like a preview, it lets you put a preview, and it's really cool. I'll, you know, probably post a little example right here of what mine looks like. It's I applaud you. And you know, there's other RSS feeds out there too. So if you want to shop around and find what really works best for you, totally do it, go for it, you know. But my suggestion, Buzzsprout has been nothing but amazing to me. Only thing I will say about Buzzsprout though, if you have a free account, after a certain time, it will delete your episodes. I learned that the hard way. So that's why I have an account where I pay like $12 a month and my episodes will never get deleted no matter how many I have. So there's that. Totally almost forgot to mention that, but that's definitely something to think about when making your decision. And my last piece of advice for you would be to create an Instagram account for your podcast. Because you know, it's one thing to create it, but how will people know about it? How will people know when a new episode comes out? Because you know, you can only do so much with your own platform, but bring some life to your podcast. You know what I mean? So give your podcast its own entity. That way, once it grows, you know, it gets its own fan base and it won't just be about you. And if you want other guests to come in, that way you can, I don't know, it's just best, in my opinion, to separate the two. And when your podcast has a presence, it's like, oh, okay, let's go check this out. And, you know, use that account to, you know, post when a new episode is coming out, or even a poll, or just sound bites, or even funny memes from time to time. Give your podcast a personality other than just your voice. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. But yeah, guys, I hope this really helped. I hope this wasn't, you know, too complex for beginners out there trying to start a podcast. And you know what? We are in social distancing. So if you have nothing to do and you always wanted to start one, use this as a sign to do it. So again, as always, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and ding the little notification bell down below. And you know what? If you have a podcast, leave it in the comments. That way people can see it. Promote yourself. No, seriously, promote yourself in the comments, and who knows what can come out of it. We're in this together. We're gonna grow and thrive together. And yeah, as always, till next time, JD Boo.